What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Cookie DAO. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, okay? We are sitting at about 9.2 cents, and we're going to do some technicals in a second. But somebody told me they had a hard time researching this thing, so I'm going to help you out here. If you go to Cookie DAO on CoinMarketCap, you click website, you can do that, or just type in cookie.fun. www.cookie.fun. If you click this, Cookie DAO right here, it'll take you to this page. Here you can click tokenomics, farming, staking. You can learn all about it. All three of these tabs are basically everything you need to know. Oops, I didn't mean to click on that. I already have it pulled up. And then if you click on tokenomics, this is essentially their white paper. It's on x.com. It's an article. This whole thing, man, it's a long bit. You know what? Here, I'll even just kind of trail through it slowly while I talk. It just tells you guys what it is. If you want to pause and you want to read it at any point, you can. I don't really like to do fundamental analysis on this channel so much. When I'm bored, I do, and I'm kind of bored right now, so I guess that's why we're going through it in honesty. But, you know, there are a couple of interesting things I think about Cookie. Let's see if we can find one here. Yeah. Slow burn mechanism on Cookie, locked and access pools, pay for subscription models. This requires spending Cookie for access. They do have subscriptions for their API monthly pricing here. $500, $2,000, $5,000. Different tiers give you different things, right? And then 50% of the flows are burned, continuously returning the total circulating, continuously reducing the total circulating supply here. There are burn mechanisms introduced in this thing. It is a deflationary coin, and it's not fully deployed, right? There are a lot of tokens that are still locked up. Market cap 41, fully diluted valuation is a little bit more than double that, but a lot of those tokens get unlocked periodically, and a lot of them get unlocked, I think, toward the end of this year too, right? We go through here. It might even tell us. Let's see. Hold on. Staking is kind of cool. It's kind of a cool, and we'll go over that too real quick. Different tiers of staking. You get airdrops, you guys, and you have to lock up your tokens in a contract. You know, you can stake. I don't think you can unstake them once they've been locked up. Maybe you can at a penalty. I'm not aware. I haven't staked any of my Cookie personally, but thinking about doing it, I might lock it up for 180 days because I think we do have more than that in this Bitcoin bull market still. Cookie has a governance token, technical infrastructure. You can read through all this if you want to. Just pause the video, you know. Any coders out there who want to analyze that, you can. But again, you could probably just look this up on your own as well, right? Let's see. Where are we at here? Where are we at? Where's the thing? I want the tokenomics, man. Staking tokenomics. There we go. So the present distribution and token allocations are a result of 3+ years of building our data layers. So in stealth, with support from early backers and contributors. This is something that's awesome, you guys. When you have, and I mentioned this yesterday in another project. When you have, I think it was, what was it? What project was it? It was for Swiftcoin. When you have a team developing and building the project before the token actually comes out to exist, that's how you know that they're actually about it, right? People who are in crypto, most of the time, they don't have the product. They create the token, and then with your money that you put into it, with your investments, they sell, because they have most of it, they sell, and they build from there, hopefully. Most of crypto is a money grab. But what sets apart, a very clear indication of what sets apart actual builders, actual protocols that are being built that have potential, in my opinion, and just money grabs, are people like this that have built for 3+ years their data layer in stealth without having the token released, right? The token is a new thing, only released as of recently. So they worked on this thing. They made sure it was a more complete product before they put it out. They could have put it out 3 years ago, but they didn't. I guess 3 years ago would have been in the bear market. So they also got timing on their side. But timing is very key as well. And building in the bear market in stealth is definitely a positive thing, in my opinion, right? They had a lot of work going on. They completed the product, or at least had a very, very somewhat complete product by the time that it launched. You can read through here if you want, right? Cliff, 12 months, vesting, 36 months. When did Cookie DAO come out? Hold on now. All-time history. So that was back in June of 2024. So they have a cliff. So there are no tokens being unlocked, at least for the treasury. These guys have already, but that was 0%, so that doesn't really matter. Yeah, let's see. 10% actually. This is 8%, not that much. 4 months of vesting, TGE, airdrops, right? A lot of airdrops have already happened. Let's see. A lot of this has already come out, right? A lot of the coins that have been unlocked have already been unlocked, and then we also have vesting periods where we've got token unlocks happening every single month, but it's at a steady rate. It's not a crazy thing. Cliff, 9 months vesting, right? Advisory, where is it? Where does it say the total percentage? I don't see that. Oh wait, maybe it's this. No. Anyways, you can read through all this if you want to. And I think that it's a very interesting thing. If we also go through the staking here, if you click on staking, you can stake your Cookie DAO through BNB Smart Chain. You can stake it through Base, Mainnet, whatever. Connect your wallet here. There are different tiers, right? 500,000 points required for Diamond tier, and that's where you get, I think, the most airdrops, premium airdrops and stuff like that. And that's kind of the benefit of staking here. You do get an APY, and that, if you lock it up, changes, right? So at a 30-day APY, it's 1%, and it's compounding daily. This one, 90 days, jumps up to about 4%, compounding daily. This one at 180 is 8%. And 365, while that is appetizing at 12.4%, and you would likely get to Diamond tier with lower amounts than you would need at any of these other ones. I think because your cookie points multiplier is what establishes this, right? Like, let's just say here you put in, I don't know, let's say you have 100,000 cookie. 100,000 cookie there, that would give you diamond status right there. And 100,000 cookie, when it's worth less than 10 cents, I mean, that's, would that be $10,000? That would be $10,000, right? So I guess that's still a rather decent amount there. But if you want top tier, you'd have to lock it up for 365 at $10,000, because at 10 cents times 10,000, that would be, or 100,000, that'd be $10,000. Yeah, decent bit invested there, right? At 180 days, you wouldn't have diamond, but you would have platinum still, and you'd be on your way to diamond. And if you have more than 10,000 invested in cookie, or even actually if you wait for the price to come down, it's probably going to cost less than 10,000. It would be closer to like 6,000 to 7,000, maybe even 8,000, something like that. Which I know this is not small; these aren't small numbers. But again, I'm talking about. And maybe for some people they're small numbers, but for most people they're not small numbers, right? But I'm just talking about what it would take to get to these upper tiers. Even at bronze, even at silver and gold, you still get airdrops and stuff like that, but you just get more of them and more premier access to them, I suppose, at these higher levels, right? But it's just interesting. You do get that 8% APY. I think 180 days lockup period is really nice. 8% APY compounding daily. That gives you, I don't know, man, if you had 100,000 coins, I actually did the math of this already, so I know. I think that would give you an extra, like 340, 380 cookie DAO. It wouldn't be much, right? From like 100,000, I think it gives you an extra. Well, that's not necessarily true. You get more than that, but from the compounding effect, I think that you'd get. I forget what it would be. Let's just. I don't want to ask Grok. You do get some though, right? Because if it's 180 days, it's not for a whole year, so you're going to get, instead of 8%, think of it as like 4%. 4% of 100 grand is 4,000, right? So you'd get 104,000, yes. And then the compounding effect, I think, to that would add an extra 380. So it'd be like you'd come out of this, if you stake it for 180 days and you stake 100,000 of them, you'd get 4,300, 4,400 coins coming back to you after that, right? Plus you'd be having a lot of cookie points here, and you would be getting airdrops along the way that also promote value and stuff like that. You can just get those airdrops and sell them, or hold on to them, do whatever you want with them. 4,000, it might not seem like that much, right? You have 100,000 cookie and 4,300. That doesn't seem like that much, but if you're like me and you think that cookie DAO can be worth multiple dollars, I mean, hey man, that's some decent money just for staking for 180 days. If you're planning on holding this and not selling it, man. If you plan on holding it and just letting it ride, and you don't care where you're not going to trade it or anything like that, I don't know, that 180-day lockup period might be for you. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. You know, there's the 90-day period, which again the incentives are a little bit less. The APY is about average for what you find in the space, but these longer lockup periods do offer a lot. I don't think, and not financial advice, not a financial advisor, do whatever you want, but 365. Like if you really want that diamond status and you don't have more than 100,000 coins, or you just have 100,000 or less, then yeah, that would get you there. But that would be, 365 puts us in April of next year. I think it's a little bit late for that, right? I think that's a little bit late. Remember, guys, when you stake your coins, they're basically not your coins. You're basically lending them to the protocol. Nobody wants to say that, but that's essentially what it is. You're lending your coins to the protocol, and they pay you back as a result of that. That's what happens. So you will have your coins locked up for a certain amount of time, and I think that if you unlock them, I don't know if you're allowed to unlock them, but if you are, like most contracts, you'd probably have to pay a penalty, and it's like 20% penalty or something like that, or it's normally not kind. So just be aware of that, okay? If you're gonna lock up your coins, be prepared to ride it out. 180 days from now, if we're looking at this here on a weekly basis. Oops, let me delete all that. 180 days for Cookie DAO from here. And I love how this tells us the days. That would give us about what time frame would that be? That'd be in September of 2025. And I actually think that the bull market will progress until October, November of this year, and maybe even beyond that. So I think 180-day lockup period, we're still in for that. If that sounds like too much to you, too intense, or if staking is just too complicated in the first place, you don't have to get into it. But there's more than just the APY coming your way, right? You have access to airdrops and stuff like this from the protocol. And I think, let's see, is there something farming if we go here? Hold on. Yeah, upcoming events. There's live ones here, and you can participate in these, right? Pool capacity, airdrop value 49,000, airdrop value 50,000, 100,000 pool capacity. You can add to those pools as well. But it's just some interesting stuff, and I'm pretty sure if you're in the diamond tier, you don't necessarily have to participate in the farming to get airdrops. You just get airdrops anyways. But you get more airdrops if you do participate in farming or however it works. But again, I'm speaking about things that I don't know everything about. But Cookie, man, there's a lot of layers to it. There's a lot of interesting prospects to it. Okay, and I think that as that AI narrative builds, it's only going to be better. It's only going to grow more. I do believe that we're going lower for the time being, from a low here to a high there. We're going to see prices that are at 8.3 cents. 6.3 cents, somewhere in that area. And again, at 10 cents, 100,000 coins, which could get you to diamond if you lock it up for 365, could at least get you to platinum. Probably even 50,000 coins would get you to platinum. 50,000 at 10 cents is $5,000. Down here at 8 cents, that's less than 5K. Down here at 6 cents, that's probably closer to $3,000, something like that. But and I know that this isn't small money for everybody. Some people have a hard time putting together a couple $100. Some people have a hard time putting together $1,000 or more, right? But if this is something that you have some pocket change, a little bit more than loose pocket change on the side for, and you want to stake, I think this is one of the. I don't stake, guys. I don't normally advertise staking. I don't like to, because it is effectively the whole purpose that we're in crypto, you guys, is not your keys, not your Bitcoin, right? It's to take back control of your finances, to have it in your own hands instead of in the hands of these corporations and central banks. But if you want to give it over to Cookie DAO, because that's essentially what you do when you stake. You're lending it back, right? You're kind of lending them out your stuff. If anything negative happens, you can't move your coins, and sometimes that happens. It's a bit of an implied risk, but I think this could be a profitable opportunity, especially as the AI narrative gets built and airdrops come out. Man, I mean, you would again, just from staking, you would make probably an extra 4,000 tokens or more if you had 100,000 tokens or more than that, obviously. And that at a multi-dollar cookie is nice in itself. Like if Cookie did hit the prices that I think it can hit, which is $10 by the end of the cycle, near $100 by the end of the cycle, you guys, that's a lot of money, right? Just from the staking in itself. But if it does, if we do see some airdrops along the way too, that can also help relieve the assumed risk. That's what I'm trying to say. Sorry, I'm getting distracted because I hear my daughter running upstairs. But I've got nothing else to say, guys. I think that we are going to go a little bit lower here. After we go lower down to about 8.3 cents to 6.3 cents, from a high to a low fib here, the target area to expect to be something at about $1.76 to $2.31, maybe as high as $4.43. This target area is not by the end of the cycle. This is what I expect to happen by the end of June, something in this area on our next move up. Okay, by the end of June, this is kind of what I'm expecting. Afterwards, we could continue higher. If you're looking at these numbers and you're like, man, that's crazy. How could it go up that much? Cookie DAO, you guys, is at a $41 million market cap. It's seeing decent volume throughout its whole entire existence. It's going to continue to grow. I think it's just beginning, and I really do think this project is interesting as hell, and there's a lot to it. I did a lot of talking, but man, just read through it. You'll see. Hopefully you can piece the dots together. If you don't, just read through it. Read through it a couple of times. Maybe watch some other YouTubers on it. Type in Ivan on Tech Cookie DAO. He explains it pretty damn well, I think, a good bit of the time. He doesn't go into every single detail, but he does have a good way with words. Ivan on Tech is the guy that put this on my radar. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be aware of it, and then, you know, by default, maybe some of you wouldn't be aware of it either. But I've got nothing else to say. I'm going to end that video there. So hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.